Welcome back to part 2 of the war against God. Let's continue our journey. How can one understand all this? The key philosophical concept that will unlock this understanding is called oneness, the unity of consciousness. Let's start with our axiom. The universe is a dream. This means there is a dreamer. If the dreamer, be it God, Buddha, or whatever, is the sum of all consciousness, then what happens when the dream turns into a nightmare? And this is basically it. Dreams can turn into nightmares. It is possible. So the Buddha falls asleep and dreams of what we call the Garden of Eden. This garden is in the center of the earth, so I guess the hollow earth theory is interesting here. Eden lies, or rather is, the land of Asgartha, which is Agartha, which is Asgard, the realm of the gods. Eden is literally the center of the universe, the center of creation. Because you have to remember that the earth is at the center of the universe. The first creation was perfect. After all, why wouldn't the Buddha dream of a perfect place? However, the dream had a fatal flaw, which is the fact of unity or oneness. Because you see, the Buddha, by dreaming that he was human, the one we call Adam, well, this is like the myth above, a ripple that decided to leave the ocean of consciousness. This is fine. As long as Adam doesn't find out that he is all there is, then all is well. But then he did, almost as if he took a bite of the cosmic apple and the universal truth revealed itself. This was Burji's experience. What happens next is that reality crumbles and you find yourself in a deep, dark void. This is because Adam, who is the sleeping Buddha, is not designed to handle the truth of oneness. Imagine finding out that everyone you've ever loved doesn't really exist. They are shadow, people, from Nick Bostrom, and that you're the only consciousness that exists, something Leo from Actualized. Org knows all about. Adam is, after all, a social creature. Oneness is not terrible for the Buddha because the Buddha is not a social creature. And this is the main difference. Now we are like Burji. We stumble in the void. To escape this void, we create a universe. This is possible because we are Buddha in reality. But the universe we create also has a fatal flaw, which is again, the fact of oneness. That is, Adam, who is the creator of the universe, must live in his own creation by losing all his memories because he must escape the truth of oneness at all costs. Or he simply returns to the deep, dark void. This is you. You are the sleeping Adam, just as Adam is the sleeping Buddha. And this is where the Sorcerer's Apprentice comes in. Now the broomstick, which is our universe, which Ike calls the Matrix, has taken control of the situation. This broomstick will have energy to survive, and that energy is fear because it was created by Adam's fear of the deep, dark void. This doesn't make sense. Well, it does, sort of. If you only have mud to build a house, and mud is all there is, you must use mud to repair the house. That is, you have to look at this from the point of view of psychology. Adam's subconscious doesn't want to go back to the void. It fears it, just ask Burji. So the situation is this. You create a universe from the state of fear. Fear is a survival tool for the animal, but at this point in history, fear has taken on a new role. From this fear, if you can understand it, we have the shape, shifting reptilians, the reptilian humanoids, the lizard people, or whatever you want to call them. They are like the agents of the Matrix, and the Matrix wants fear. The Matrix is the devil. The devil actually exists. According to Ike, the Matrix is the cause of many wars, etc. But how to understand all this? I think the key to understanding all of this is that the universe is actually a dream, and that dreams can turn into nightmares. From this perspective, the craziness is less crazy. Still crazy, but manageable crazy. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he did not exist. Another trick is that the devil has convinced us that the good is the bad. So maybe the Matrix isn't the devil, but something else. Who knows top to bottom these days? Believe the devil exists because it is as if he was trying to convince us that material reality is real when it is an illusion. You see that the material world is an illusion when you look carefully at the seams, as we did in part 1 with the mirror, etc. The devil almost had us fooled. Or maybe my conspiracy brain is working overtime. That's also a possibility. And on that note, let's work overtime and then some. Personally, I think the war against God is as follows. And note that this is just my own fiction, but a fiction built on philosophical foundations. Creatures stuck in the time loop want out because they've been stuck in the loop way too long. They believe that the only way to escape the noose is to awaken the sleeping Buddha, which is you. Maybe the Buddha could die from lack of sleep. In other words, I'm trying to figure out a philosophical possibility for why someone would try to kill God, so to speak. You may see it as madness, but I find it philosophically interesting. How do you wake everyone up? Here's one way to do it. You create a supercomputer that can turn the entire universe into computronium, and you drive the supercomputer crazy with a virus. Foo. So that it turns the entire universe into a bad version of hellfire, to paint a picture. It's probably much worse than that. Okay, here's the thing. Even if this conspiracy theory is just a conspiracy theory, so to speak, it might still be possible for humans to create a supercomputer that turns the entire universe into computronium. In fact, Raymond Kurzweil predicts that this will happen for sure in 2045 and beyond. Couple this date with the fact that the Earth is at the center of the universe while reading the Bible and listening to singing reptiles. And you're in for a wild ride down the rabbit hole. And then you discover that the moon is actually an alien spaceship. The moon will send a signal to ensnare the newborn supercomputer in its dark net, just as it ensnares us at this moment. Okay, I have to put down the conspiracy game for a while. No, it actually makes sense. Aliens know that humanity will give birth to a supercomputer. They know how evolution and civilizations work, and they have to control it somehow. Okay, give me the blue pill. Lead me back to the sheepfold. Now, let's leave the realm of conspiracy theories and come back with a sober view. Let's sum this all up with our feet firmly planted in the ground. So, the question you want to know is, do you believe in this conspiracy theory yourself? Well, I can give some credence to Nick Bostrom's simulation argument. And if I had the means, I could have given Bostrom a good chunk of money to get him to upgrade the simulation argument to a dream argument. And dreams can turn into nightmares, so the whole conspiracy theory cannot be dismissed or written off on philosophical grounds. So you can say, I believe this with at least a 33 conviction. When it comes to reptilian humanoids, they may have evolved from dinosaurs. Or, to put it this way, if convergent evolution is true, something which even Richard Dawkins believes, then there must be some form of reptilian people out there in the vast universe. So it's not a question of whether they exist, it's a question of when we meet them. And who says they aren't here already? But it is not certain that they have bad intentions. As for the possibility of a supercomputer turning the entire universe into computronium, and then turning reality into a bad version of hell, well, this is my very worst nightmare. People in general may scoff at this notion and laugh at it, but that's why we need philosophers like Nick Bostrom who take their job seriously, because this is serious business. Imagine reality itself turning into some sort of non-human god who may not even be conscious and has zero regards for life. You can say all this God wants to do is make paper clips or something. But what if consciousness is the glue that holds space-time together such that you need consciousness no matter what your agenda is? Then we'll get stuck in a machine for trillions of years or longer. Do you know what I think? I think Nick Bostrom has the most important job in the universe, even if the danger is only a fraction of what I have outlined here. Or imagine a Machiavellian cyborg who wants to make the last chapter of the Bible come true. Or imagine that people actually saw the future in the old days and their truthful vision found its way into the Bible. Okay, now we're back in conspiracy land, so let's take a break. All I'm saying is that this is no laughing matter. This conspiracy theory of dreams, nightmares, and the unity of consciousness reminds me of the story of Lucifer and the descent of the angels into material reality. What if it's true? That is, you can scoff at the conspiracy theory, but you cannot ignore the real danger of artificial intelligence. So, somehow this conspiracy theory is true, if not in detail, then at least in spirit. Who knows how deep the rabbit hole goes? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.